Hey, it's Tasha, and I am bringing you today a nice little quick stretch for cyclists or riders or Peloton users, bikers, whatever you want to do. If you're doing it on 2 wheels, 1, 4 wheels, I think that's all there is. Maybe there's a 5-wheeler, I'm pretty sure there is. Then this is a little flow that you would want to do. So this is going to be a follow-along flow. The first thing we want to know about when we are doing these types of biking movements is that we are sitting down. And for those of you who are already sitting down a lot during your day, whether it's a work day or whatever, if you're relaxing and you're sitting and your knees are kind of close to your chest all day, that can create some tightness in your quads, in your hip flexors, and on the parts that are super important, also large muscles within your body. And so the hips are also said to hold a lot of emotion. So when we are literally and figuratively stuck in these positions, or our muscles are stuck in these positions, it can cause a whole slew of things and things that we would like to see. Here we go. So the first thing I like to do is always connect with my breath. So if you'd like to just sit either cross-legged, or if that's not comfortable, you can fully extend your legs out into a more comfortable position. I invite you to do so. And we're going to take some deep belly breaths. So as you take inhales through your nose, let that air travel down into your lungs so that your belly expands. And that's going to give you enough air and as much air as you can, rather than breathing up in your chest, where a lot of people end up breathing, but really that's not as much as you can get. Your full potential is going to be down here and getting your belly nice and opened up so that your lungs can fill up with air. So, here we go. Big inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Good, and just make sure you're sitting up nice and tall so that your ears are right above your shoulders right above your hips. Big inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Inhale through your nose, exhale out of your mouth. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Alright, you can gently open up your eyes, and let's go ahead and start on our, I'm going to give this a try. Go ahead and start on our hands and knees. So tuck your toes under. Make sure your wrists are right underneath your shoulders. And as you take a big inhale, let your belly button drop to the floor. Your nose or chin looking up toward the sky. Still pressing your toes down into the floor. Exhale. Curl everything in the opposite direction. So the bottom of your feet or the tops of your feet go down to the floor. Belly button caves up, curls up, crown of your head goes down to the floor. Inhale, reaching back up. Cow. Exhale, press in a cow. If you don't do anything else today, say you get a phone call, you have to go, this is the one thing that I want you to do, and that is highly, highly recommended to keep your spine healthy, doing any and all of these movements. Good, so let's take a big inhale again here. Exhale, sit your hips back so that you're in your child's pose, and you can extend your arms forward as much as you can. If your shoulders are tight, that's okay. You can bring your elbows down and your head right on your palms or across your forearms. Good, and feel free to make a little bit more room for your belly. You can open up your knees and really sit back into this one. This is the pose that you can come to at any time during today's practice if you need a break. When you're ready, on that next inhale, press away from the floor, and we're going to come back into a tabletop position. So from here, I'm going to bring one foot on the outside of my hand, and I'm going to allow myself to come into a half kneeling position. Now from here, inhale, reaching the arms up, or we can bring them behind us to open up the chest. If you gently do that, just make sure that your shoulders are down away from your ears and not up by them. So shoot them down and back. And I'm stretching out the thigh on the left side, so you should feel a nice big stretch. Take one big inhale. Exhale, press away from that front foot. You can bring your hands down. Let's slowly switch on to the other side. Go ahead, take a nice big inhale here. Exhale as you come up. Using that core, let's stack the hips and your shoulders. Good. Take 2 more breaths here. Taking in the oxygen that's around you. And go ahead and gently push back through that front foot. And we can slowly sit back again into that child's pose. And from here, I'm going to reach my arms forward. And slowly what I'm going to do is come into a puppy pose, which is going to be really good for our upper spine. So I'm going to keep my knees bent, keep my hips bent, but just reach the fingertips forward, which also brings my chest forward. Now, my hips will stack right above my knee, and the chest I'm going to guide down toward the floor. So I want you to take your time and find what's comfortable. If this isn't comfortable at all, you can come down here and try to do the same maneuver, bringing your chest down. Good. Take a nice big deep breath. One more big breath here. Exhale, press through the floor as we come onto our tabletop. So now I'm going to sit my hips back, and we're going into a thread the needle. So I'm going to reach one hand out, pressing through the floor with the other. Big inhale, reaching out. Exhale, twisting through, pressing my hand down to the floor. Relax here. There's a plane above me. How cool. Good. On your next inhale. Sorry, I thought there was like an animal coming. You can unwind, slowly bring that hand forward to the another big inhale here. Come forward if you'd like to give yourself a break. Exhale, push back, thread that needle, bringing your hand through, pressing into the floor. Good. Big inhale. Exhale, press through the floor. All right. So in our half kneeling position, I'm going to keep one leg down in the 90-degree angle. So my hip is above my knee and my ankle is back there supporting. The other foot is going to come forward and I'm going to come into a half kneeling position. So let's go for a half camel. Now, the camel pose is really good to open up your chest, and it also is really good to help stretch out the quad area. So what I would want you to try is to gently open up your chest by just lifting the top or the bottom of the sternum. And that is just maybe 5 or 6 inches from your navel. You're not letting your butt stick out either. We're going to tuck that tailbone under. Make sure you can squeeze your butt. Lift here. And I'm just gently going to reach back. And you can either reach toward the ankle fully or reach toward the floor. If you have a block, forgot to get a block, I can show you with the shoe. Might as well. Do that. I don't think you care, right? So I wouldn't recommend it if you don't know, if you're kind of like new to yoga or don't really, if you know that you need the stability, I wouldn't use a shoe. Perhaps a can or a yoga block, something that is way more sturdy that you can put some weight on. So, reaching back. Whatever is comfortable for you. And now what I'm still doing is I'm squeezing my glute and allowing my chest to open. You can either hold here, lifting your chin up toward the sky, or reach your arm even further. Yes, continuing that movement. Good, take a breath. And big exhale. Let's go ahead and go to the other side, so same thing. Tucking the toes. Lifting up. Starting from the sternum after I squeeze the glutes. Lift. Reach. Gently breathing. Bringing those toes down into the floor. Big inhale. And then exhale as you come forward. Coming back into tabletop position. So I'll move my faux blocks now. Alright. So now from here, let's take a nice big inhale, press to the floor again. Exhale, press up and back into the first down dog. Now keep your knees bent for this first one. And feel free to lift and bring down the heels to get a nice little ankle stretch. Take a big inhale and exhale. Another big inhale here. And exhale as we come back into our tabletop. Alright, so next we have our gate lodge pose. So I'm going to start with both my hand and my knee on the same side and my foot on the floor. And let's bring this other leg out. So I'm going to bring it right behind so that the heels make a line with each other. Okay, so from here I'm going to stretch up, reaching that top arm. And I want to pretend like I'm being pulled up from that top arm. Pressing through that foot. Beautiful. Good. You can flip that back foot. Good. And just gently, as you exhale, go ahead and bring that foot right underneath the knee again. Over here, the heels in line, and you can bring that top leg up if you'd like, or keep it down to the floor. 3, which is just a little bonus, 2, and 1. Bring that heel really down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So lifting that other leg up and out, reaching that top arm. Good. Beautiful. Bring those arms up. Nice big inhale. Exhale onto that same side. Good. Gently go ahead and bring that hand down, slowly toward the floor. Windshield wiper the heels in alignment. And take your time to lift up that top leg. For our bonus, we're getting some glute strength, some core stability. Yes. In 3, 2, 1, and relax. Good. Go ahead and rest in your child's pose. Good. Now from here, I'm going to come back into my tabletop, press through the floor, and gently lift up one leg so I'm in a 3-legged dog. I'm going to bend my knee to open up the hip. This is really, really good for all of my biking friends, runners, all of us. Good. Big inhale here. Reach into that 3-legged dog so the hips are square. It's okay. It doesn't have to go for height. You just want to push through that heel. Exhale, bring the knee in, and we're going to come down into a pigeon or a half pigeon. You want to start by lifting the chest up. And I have the ankle kind of close to the other hip. So leg is making that kind of position. Good. And if this is uncomfortable, you can instead bring one foot on the outside for your lizard, and you would come down into here and maybe bring the elbows toward the floor. Good. Whichever you choose, let's take some breath there. Good. Take one more breath. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and come up. And we're going to go back, if you'd like, into your down dog. Feel free to shake that out. Maybe bend one knee at a time again. Check in. And then when you're ready, take a nice big inhale. The other leg lifts up. You're opening up that hip again, sending the heel out. Exhale, let's bring the feet through. Coming either into that half pigeon or the lizard. So find whichever one works for you. Relax into it. Good, and when you're ready, take a nice big inhale. And go ahead and come back up. You can shake out that leg. Either in your down dog, 3-legged dog, whichever dog you want. Good. Take a few more breaths here if you'd like, or rest in your child's pose. And when you're ready, just come back. We'll just take a second. Just take a second to like shake yourself out, you know. The big thing about yoga is that you don't have to necessarily do what I'm suggesting or what your teacher is suggesting. It is all about what you want to do, what your body is communicating to you. So feel free to take your space, make it your own practice. So now here, let's just bring our hands behind us. And if this isn't comfortable with your hands, like you don't want them too close, you can bring them out to the edges of your mat, which is your floor space. So bring the shoulders up to our ears in a nice little lazy pose. And then let's push them down and back, lift your chest up. Widen your feet. And we're just gonna get some breaths here. So our next pose will go down into a nice fish pose. So what I'm going to do pretty much is starting up at the hands, or with the hands right underneath my shoulders, I'm going to let one elbow come down to the floor and then let the other elbow come down to the floor. So now the elbows underneath the shoulders, I'm again bringing my shoulder blades down and back, lifting the chest and allowing my chest to open up. So we're just trying to do some opposite movements of being stuck in a position, whether you're on your bike or maybe you're running, picking up running, or anything that would involve some forward movement. Sagittal. Movement in the sagittal plane. Good. And on your next exhale, gently bring your whole shoulders and chest down. And you can bring both knees to your chest. Take a few breaths here on your own. I'm going to bring my feet down a little bit wider than my hips. And just let the knee drop one at a time into the center, allowing the feet to kind of stay more planted toward the floor. And next I'm going to go into a nice, strong, happy baby, or half happy baby to start. So one foot is planted on the floor. Try to keep your lower back close to the floor as much as you can. The other knee will start at my chest, and I'm going to reach toward the outside of this foot. Now, the foot is going to go out again so that the ankle is right above the knee. So we're going for a nice wide hip, hamstring, more like adductor opener. So with any of these sports, or even just sitting in general, we want to do the opposite movement and stretch out the hips and the hamstrings and the glutes and the entire hip capsule. So we're kind of trying to get it as much of a wide perspective as possible, hitting it from all sides, front, back, side. And then go ahead when you're ready, you can bring that foot down. Bringing the other knee to your chest and then gently reaching up to the outside of that foot. Taking again your time to breathe. Okay, go ahead and bring your heel toward your glutes. And you can bring that foot back to the floor. Let's go back to that windshield wiper one more time. And next I'm going to go to my bridge pose. So I'm going to bring my heels toward the center of my glutes, shoulders down, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and I'm going to let my hips push up toward the ceiling. So we get a nice stretch here, but then we have the glutes working, which is what we need if we are doing a lot of sitting. So if you'd like a little bit more, I'm going to clasp my hands down at the bottom. I'm taking some nice deep breaths here. Letting again the belly rise and fall. The bigger the better. As long as you're controlled, keep pressing through the floor. Take one more breath. Exhale, bring those glutes down. You can bring your knees to your chest. Again, rock side to side. And I'm going to take both knees off to one side of my body, keeping them in first, letting them come down. The opposite hand is going to stretch away from my legs. I'm going to look toward the hand. Supine. Good. Take your time, bring your knees back into the center. Go ahead and put one hand on the opposite side. Let the other side open up and relax. When you're ready, you can bring everything back down. Gonna hold on to your knees just one more time. And the last pose we have is our figure four, which is an alternative to our pigeon. So I'm gonna cross the knee above the ankle, and I'm letting this other knee drop so that you see a 4, the letter 4, from here. Now I'm going to bring, either stay here if this is enough and you do feel a stretch in your hip, back of the hip, or bring the other leg in, flex both feet, and stretch. So again, the knee over here is going to come away from my head. Okay, just take one more breath here. And as you exhale, you can bring your leg back down. Switch over to the other side. Flexing the foot again, bending that knee, and bringing the knee towards your chest. Bring that leg back down. And take your time again to stretch out all the way. We're going to our Shavasana. So let your arms just gently fall by your sides. Bring the shoulders down. Allow your toes to flop and your hips to flop open. You want to relax everything down to the mat, from your head to your shoulders, to your hips, stomach, thighs, knees, calves, and toes. Alright, so we'll end with our nice belly breathing one more time for today. So you can put either one hand or both hands on your belly, or one hand also on your chest, whichever you prefer. So let's take some nice big inhales through your nose, let your belly rise. Exhale out of your mouth. Inhale again. And exhale. One more big inhale. And exhale. Alright, thank you for joining with me. Thank you for joining me today. Keep running, keep cycling, keep doing it. Make sure that you tend to your body